the wise Orlando.
Welcome back to Mages and Murderdads, the best show dedicated to the Baldur's Gate franchise and beyond. I'm Cameron, and I play Ticklevar the Sorcerer.
And I am Danny, and I play Balthazar, the Barbarian.
The Bardbarian. This is episode 37.
No, that's a Barbarian is a rare dual-classed bard barbarian. And I am not that.
Oh, I didn't. I've been, oh my gosh.
You thought I was a skald this entire time?
Yeah. You haven't been? No. You haven't been jamming on that loot the whole time?
No.
Oh my god. What a fool I've been.
Totally.
This is episode 37, and today we are finishing Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Amn.
Whoa.
Golly gosh in hell.
Can you believe it?
It's only taken almost the first full year of the Stein presidency for us to complete this damnable game.
Whoa. I mean, it's a beautiful experience, like all beautiful experiences. It lasts a year.
Yeah, just like everything good.
Like all beautiful experiences, it lasts exactly 72 weeks.
So much like, you stand in front of the Mona Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
1 full year.
Yeah, well, 74 weeks, my bad. Yeah, when you experience Mona Lisa, that's why they have so many people die at the Louvre, right?
Yeah, it's a tragedy, actually. I don't know if that should be allowed. You know?
I'm against it.
I'm also against it.
Please like and subscribe
to the show,
to this video, to this channel. Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, if you follow us on Twitter, you might find out that you have like 19 mutuals who already follow us, who just have not told you that the show is good.
No one told you.
No one told you.
We're also on Facebook. The meme game is strong on Facebook, I hear.
No, it's not.
No.
But you do get every episode posted up there.
Yeah.
Convenient mode.
And get on that Discord if you're not on the Discord and you want to join in discussions about Baldur's Gate and the Blood Souls and the I don't know, all of the video game stuff, all that nerdy stuff that's already clogging up your YouTube. You might as well chat about it with people.
Yeah. PUBG. And you know what happens this week? I think it might happen the day of this episode comes out. Some of this. Anyway, Destiny 2 is out this week.
Oh, another nerd game that we're all going to play.
Yeah, so if you want to come hang out with a bunch of nerds and play a nerd game in our clan, you can come do that.
That's fun. That'll be fun.
I really hope that people decades from now, or even 2 years from now, are listening to this episode. And they're like, Jesus Christ, Destiny 2?
I hope
from the Dark Ages?
I hope that when the world ends, archaeologists have to piece together when Destiny 2 came out, and this is their primary source.
You could really backdate a lot of like world historical events just by listening to the show and like grounding one episode in time.
Yeah, if you know when like the 16th episode is, we haven't missed any.
Yeah.
And you would be able to figure out, like, when was it that Jill Stein renditioned The Iron Chef?
Last week. 2 weeks ago.
Correct.
Yeah. So it would be, pretty easy. Pretty easy stuff. Well, you're welcome, future people. You are welcome. You can also give us some money on our Patreon. Helps support the show, helps us keep moving forward, helps us make all these YouTube videos. You can also get a newsletter on there. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good little newsletter. And you can listen to our monthly podcast, which is pretty good. People like it.
We got a strong backlog of episodes already.
Yep.
There's only 2, but they're both so strong. It's a strong backlog.
It's incredibly. It's cruel.
It's
even.
potent.
It's a potent. No one says that, and I get why, but you should. Going on my business card.
Uh-huh.
So, Danny, what happened during the last episode?
Well, the podcast
Mages?
finally went to hell.
Finally.
God, I've been waiting. I've been waiting 74 weeks to make that joke, but...
Well, we already went to hell one time.
That's true. We went to Infernus. This is a special place that we've gone to now.
Yeah, we're in the 9 hells,
Yeah.
but it's unclear which one.
It might be just a special hell that's just for Irenicus somehow. I don't understand. It's unclear to me.
There's a little bit more explanation that happens with the Throne of Baal, but it's basically like a Baal-specific pocket plane within the 9 hells.
And it just so happens that when you go to a Baal-specific pocket plane, there are always, a handful of puzzles that need to get solved.
You got to do it. Yeah, so explain what is up.
So, writ large, right? This is the way this works. We follow Irenicus' spirit into hell. We get there, we're alone. There's a door there, we can't open the door. The door says that if we get 5 special eye drops to soothe these eye stalk things on the door, we can go through. We can progress, right?
Yep.
And in order to do that, we have to solve 5 puzzles, and they're kind of like the 5 deadly sins or something. Some of them are sins, and
let me list them off for you. Very, very close to the 7 deadly sins. Some of them. Pride. That's a 7 deadly sin. Greed. Pretty sure that's a 7 deadly sin.
One of them, yeah.
Sacrifice. Not a deadly sin. Fear. Not a deadly sin.
But a character flaw.
A problem.
Maybe cowardice. I guess cowardice isn't a deadly sin.
No. And then Saravok.
I always interpreted that as wrath.
I think it's just Saravok.
Well, I know, but it never says wrath, but it's definitely wrath.
Yeah. But the rest of them have names, and his name is Saravok.
Sure, right? But if there was a demon commentating, his name would be Wrath. I'm 90% sure.
I think that's true. I also believe that if you still have Saravok's sword from the very beginning of the game, that you can give it to him here.
Maybe.
I think. That could be I didn't do any checking on this, but in my mind, that was a rumor I read on the internet back when this game came out. I can look in my guide. But yeah, so you got to get these tears of Baal, and you got to put them in the eyes of Baal, in the eyeballs. You get it?
No, I got it.
You get it? Okay. And we got it, right?
Wait.
You're recording?
Oh my God, I haven't been recording at all.
Oh, did you miss it?
I missed it.
Oh, damn.
Let's just keep rolling. Let's keep going with it.
Hit record. But yeah, so you gotta go get them, and I didn't really know where to go to begin with, so I just went in a random direction. And
I went clockwise.
I went to the bottom one first.
You did it wrong.
So we're just gonna do them in the order that I did them in
because you made the doc.
Because I made the document.
Yeah.
So the first one I saw was Sacrifice. Do you remember Sacrifice?
I remember the Sacrifice. That is kind of the 6 o'clock challenge.
And I'm very curious about how this worked for Balthazar. But go ahead and tell me.
It was a lot of you approach and a entity. I guess it's safe to say it's an entity. An entity confronts you, and the entity says, I think Sacrifice is actually selfishness. That's the name of the being, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm looking at the video. So
okay.
This thing of selfishness says, hey, there are 2 paths. One path is going to be rough for you, right? You're going to have to give some stuff up. And the other path is going to be rough for somebody else. And it's not just anybody else. It's a very innocent, good person. Just a good, decent human being, right? And so the demon is very kind, and he says, go to my left, my right, and the demon's facing away from where the screen is facing. So it's very easy to know, which direction goes what. As you approach, the demon summons a human, and so yeah, I went to the demon's left. and I opened a door, and then I lost 2 maximum hit points. And at that point, I'm like, oh, so I'm going to lose something every time I go through a door. But the problem was, it was already sunk cost fallacy. Like, I'm not opening one door and losing 2 hit points and then going the other direction, right? So then I opened another door and I lost a dexterity point, which, not the best thing, but it's manageable. And then I opened the final door and I lost experience points, which are useless to me.
Yeah.
So that was fine. And,
Interesting. So yeah, the reason I ask you why this was, how this was for Balthazar is that it's not a random good human if you have a party. It's a party member.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was Jaheira, and he kind of had a little spiel about, like, it being someone I've adventured with and someone I know really well. So it's not just, like, a good person in general in the world. It's someone you know who is a good person.
Whoa.
Yeah, so you have the choice of hurting your party member or hurting yourself. And I did the same thing that you did. I did it for my main character, but yeah.
That's interesting. My choices would have probably been different if they zapped in Jaheira.
You would have been like, all right, get eaten.
Going through the right side, yeah. Because the last thing Jaheira ever did, or the last exchange Jaheira ever had with Balthazar, well, the first one was at the Friendly Arm Inn, where she called me, basically implied that I was a fool for not taking her and her coward husband.
Yeah.
And then the second time we interacted, she was somehow in a prison, with John Irenicus, right?
And you.
And me, yeah. Like, she was also detained there. And I, freed her, and then she got upset that she wouldn't let, allow, that I wouldn't allow her to accompany me. Which I was like, we're strangers. I've just freed you from this horrible torture prison. Isn't that enough?
She should have asked if she was being detained. You think she did?
I mean, did she ask the demon if she was being detained when he
she
brought
didn't.
her aside?
You have to find out.
Yeah.
You have to say it and then walk away.
Wait, are you currently detaining Jaheira the agent or Jaheira the individual?
Let's not worry about it.
Okay.
Let's not. I mean, there's no way to find out unless there's a maritime court.
No.
That's the real problem. Mm-hmm. Or the corporation. But yeah, so I did that and then went on through there, sacrificed all my stuff, and got my tier of ball.
Yeah, I've got some clear eyes.
Yeah, and so I feel like this one's a pretty good one.
Sure.
I feel like we should talk about all these, and as far as like a puzzle, because this is like meant to be you testing your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, are you the ball spawn who is going to take their destiny and then wreck everyone's shit across the universe, or are you going to try to keep yourself from all the horrible things that Baal, the Lord of Murder, would do? And I still really wonder, like, this is not something that will ever be solved by this game, but I do really wonder about how this works in a world where Cyric has Baal's portfolio.
Okay, so explain.
So in the books that accompany this plot line,
Sure.
The Time of Troubles, Baal is killed at Borskir Bridge. Remember, all the way back from Siege of Dragonspear when we were at Borskir Bridge. Baal was killed there, and Cyric took his portfolio.
Correct.
He became the Lord of Murder. So currently, right now, while we are like summoning up all the energies of the Lord of Murder and theoretically taking on, hint, 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 in the next little game, Throne of Baal, right? There is a Lord of Murder. Like, it's not like we need a Lord of Murder to appear.
That gap, that position's been filled.
Yeah. So it's just an interesting thing of like, while like the being of Baal could be brought back, I guess, he would not get his portfolio back because someone already has it, and you would have to kill him to get it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
It's a Highlander situation.
Yeah, I think so.
Is
Or
it
he would have to
really?
give
Is
it.
that actually the thing? Like, when you kill a god, it's just the person. Is it the person who strikes the final blow? Is it the person that dealt the most damage? Like, what are the rules here?
You think there's like a
Like a
last
kill-
in, first out?
It may, it could be that. It could be some like hard coding from AO to prevent kill stealing.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. There could be like an assist counts as kill system, where if you do like 80% of damage, you get the kill. I don't know. I just know the way that Cyric did it. I don't know an exhaustive list of all the ways to do it.
Yeah, like what if like a poor peasant woman like Ball was in her like hovel earlier, and she like dropped a big like a mason jar of jelly, and then Ball walked across the floor and cut his foot on one of the shards of the mason jar, and then later on he was at Borskir and gets stabbed. I wonder if that woman got like 1/200th of his divine essence.
So you're saying if Ball had lice, and this is very important. This is worth thinking about because Ball was completely bald to make sure this never happened. But if he had been bitten by a louse, perhaps, as he was being stabbed, would that louse get part of his portfolio?
Yeah, I mean, all important questions. Funnily enough, Ball was not bald in the cinematic for Siege of Dragonspear.
That's true.
Yeah,
He was
kind of
way bald in the books.
Yeah, in the books and in I think most of his other portrayals. But yeah,
Weird to
I mean,
know.
interesting. I just remember in like old school EverQuest, the way it worked, it was the majority of damage. In World of Warcraft, like it's whoever tags the mob first gets all the experience. I don't know what kind of rules we're working with when it comes to how Divine Essence is divvied up. It may just be last hit. It might be League of Legends, right?
I mean, that's just what you have to do. It's ultimately fair. Mm-hmm. Oh, well. Anyway.
Yeah, so I guess from the bottom, you went clockwise.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. All
Number
right.
2, greed.
Greed.
So you walk in, and there's a demon, and he tells you all this stuff about greed, blah, blah, blah. And he gives you a sword. And he says you have to use the sword in order to get the next tier. Mm-hmm. And the sword's called Black Razor, and its description's like, it leaks evil out of its sword tip. Something. It's bad.
It's also just a very good sword.
It's like a +3, and it like life steals. It might level drain too. So it's very cool. Yeah, I just kind of passively looked at it. But so there's a djinn there, which I think theoretically increases our genie count.
Yeah, we've done that. We're gonna go boop
Right there.
Yeah.
And so you talk to the djinn, and it's just like, there's a lot of like puzzle talk, because I was like, well, can I give you the sword? And he was like, yes, or you could, or he was like, I can't tell you. And I was like, well, could I give it to you and you would leave? And he was like, you could do that. And I was like, or could I kill you? And he was like, you could do that. And I was like, okay. And I gave him the sword, and he floofed off into nowhere.
Yeah, and I think the genie does say that the genie is bound here. The djinn is, right?
He's like enslaved or trapped or something. Like it's in his name.
Yeah. I think it's explicitly enslaved, and I know that because Balthazar has very strong feelings about slavery. Very
Yes.
anti-slavery.
Yeah.
Because that is the ultimate form, as we've discussed on the show before. Ultimate form of telling somebody what to do
Yeah.
is slavery. And Balthazar is not all about that. So Balthazar gave the sword away. Also, it's just a +3 sword. And it's a long sword, so it's dealing less damage than like my +3 bastard sword. Mm-hmm. So, not really. I imagine it's more of a temptation to keep it if you have like a full party, right?
I mean, I have a full party. I had 0 temptation to keep it.
I know, but would it have been an upgrade for anybody?
Yeah, I think so. It's like a one-handed sword, right?
Well, that's a form of temptation, right?
I'm saying I was not tempted in the slightest. I didn't even like think about that. I was like, I would rather just solve this encounter by not having to do any of that.
Oh, the issue for you was you did not want to have to get into a fight.
Yeah. Why would it? Also, it's not this djinn's fault. You know, like it's like we were saying, it is explicit that this thing is enslaved in the 9 hells.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the name now. It is, in fact, Enslaved Genie.
Yeah. So that's like not cool. So yeah, I whatever nonviolent means of solving this out, I was committed to that first.
Sure. So we did that, and yeah, the genie's good.
Yeah, he
Genie's
flies away.
flying away, flying away. Actually,
Zip.
kind of a nice little particle effect when it disappears.
Are you looking at the video right now?
Yeah, it's got it's like a little gold dome, and then it shatters, and the little gold flecks.
The
blow
summon,
away.
the big summon animation,
There you go. Yeah,
but in reverse. And so the next one is Saravok.
it is Saravok. So you roll into a little room.
I looked in the manual, or not the manual, but my strategy guide, by the way. It does label this as Wrath.
Awesome.
Yep.
So you go into a room filled with pustules on the ground. It's very strange. And there's Saravok, but the name of it is Wraith Saravok. Mm-hmm. And Saravok says, "It is I, or an echo perhaps. My essence joined that of our dead father after you murdered me. But in the end, all the children of Baal end up here," which is an interesting metaphysical. So, like, where are all these other children of Baal? Is Saravok the only dead one?
No, they're yeah, I guess that's true. They're not here, but he does imply in his dialogue that us being there has specifically brought him forth. So it could be this whole place, right? Because remember, at the very end of Baldur's Gate 1, when we saw that kind of big room of souls where everything was being stored. Mm-hmm. Like, we just pulled him as cold storage over there. Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, I've got one of these Tears of Baal, and I'm not going to hand it over because you don't deserve it." So how'd you react to that?
I said, "Well, look, buddy, I just want the thing." And he said, "Oh, I want you to be enraged because I want to teach you how to use the Slayer at will. Hint, hint, mechanic, hint, hint." And I said, I don't really care. Just please give me the thing." He's like, "You feel mad as heck, don't you?" And I said, "No, I don't really feel mad as heck at all. I don't really feel anything. I straight up killed you like 2 games ago. I forgot you existed." And he said, "Wowee, gee whiz, I'm gonna murder you now. You didn't deserve this at all." And then he attacked me. And he was hard to fight. Like, I had a hard time.
So he ended up attacking you?
Yeah. What happened?
What
with
was the
Balthazar?
last thing? Do you remember, like, the last thing he said before?
He was like, it was like one of the couple dialogue options where he's like, "You do feel the wrath." And I had to do this a couple times because this was a hard fight. And one of the times I said, "I don't feel the wrath at all." Mm-hmm. And the other time I was like, "I'll do what's necessary." I didn't choose any of the aggressive options. I just chose like the responsive options.
I see.
And then he attacked me both times.
So it sounds like he just ends up attacking you no matter what.
Well, so I'm looking. What did Balthazar do?
Balthazar said, "You need to give me that thing. I'm going to murder you." And then it stopped even being about the Tears of Baal. And I was like, "You know what? You're just bad. I'm going to murder you."
Yeah, I think I've decided you're bad.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm looking in the strategy guide here again, just to get all this additional info that we didn't have. And it says for each one of these, it has a good path and an evil path. And there's not really a difference for them for the most part, except for Saravok here. If you kill him out of pure hatred, so you just select like the meanest option every time, you get a +1 in one of your primary attributes at the end of the fight. For like accepting your ball rage.
Interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, killed him, took his thing. But yeah, he was a hard fight. I think his AC is real low.
He has the same gimmick as before, where he just has this perma haste basically. So he just hits like a truck, and has the fast attack speed and relatively difficult to hit. So
He was super hard to hit. I think only Mazzy of my party members could hit him like reliably. And she was hitting him pretty hard, but I really had to keep her alive and make sure that's happening. When I get to reconfigure my party for Throne of Ball,
Is that a thing?
yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of party members drop out, and I think there's a couple new ones, some stuff like that. I'm really going to do some finagling.
Interesting.
I'm going to take probably one of the priests out. I'm going to take probably Jahira's going to get out of there. Probably going to remove Imowen.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm just going to get a lot more aggressive. I only really have one party member who can hit people hard, and I need a couple.
Yeah, that's really needs to be most of your party. There needs to be those kind of people and the people that support those people. That's the only two types of people you need.
Well, I've got a lot of people supporting one person right now, so I'm going to really reconfigure that.
It's really like MMO raid style.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I need 9 healers.
On a rotation.
And just one tank. That's actually kind of how I'm playing it right now, and it's not fun.
Okay.
That comes to bear in a little while too. But
So yeah, so one thing that I think is interesting, so what you could do is you could take the tiers that you get to the door as you get them. I did not do that. I like turned in all the tiers at once.
yeah,
But if you turn them the tiers one at a time, you will notice that like there are stat adjustments and weird stuff that happens to your character when you turn in tiers. And that is those things are dependent on what you do,
oh,
on the choices you make and how you got the tiers.
really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That is the so when it says you get a stat bonus or whatever. That's
Yeah, I thought it was
why.
just a flat. Yeah, I got like +2 to saving throws. I got +1 to charisma and wisdom or something like that. I got just all kinds, like some general. Oh, immunity to less than +1 weapons, which is pretty good.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
I don't know how often I'm being hit by less than +1 weapons, period. But
Well, it's going to really make bandits that hijack you in Joaquin's Promenade upset.
oh, they'll never get over it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I had an alignment change, but I guess we'll get that when we finish, because that was Saravok. We're now going around to the 1 o'clock position, right? And this is Pride.
which I thought was this is conceptually one of the best ones, but only because of the way that I interacted with it. So what happens with Pride?
So you go into this room, and a demon kind of warns you about something, right? The demon says it's the same model. It's like that Baldur model, right? And the demon kind of flatters you a little bit when you're talking to it, and it basically says, "Hey, you know you need to get these tiers of ball. This creature in here is strong, but I know that like all monsters, all creatures bow to you." It's really playing me up here.
You're very good.
You're a wonder of destruction. I'm reading the quote. Go and defeat the creature that lies in the cavern, crush it beneath your heel, and claim another victory. And you know what this sounds like?
Someone telling you what to do?
It sounds like someone is telling me what to do.
Can't even take a compliment.
Can't. No.
Impossible. A compliment is someone telling you what to do because they're praising you about something you've done before.
Exactly.
Oh my God. I've learned so much about the different valences of telling someone what to do over the course
It's
of
almost
the show.
like it's ambiguous enough to just qualify for anything, doesn't
just
it?
justify anything you want. Well, what I really liked. So what did you do?
Well, I went up, and apparently you can just talk to this dragon.
Oh yeah.
But I think whether or not you can talk to the dragon is dependent on the dialogue choices you make.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So what did you say in your dialogue?
I think I said something along the lines of, "Are you saying that it won't give me the tier?" And then the pride says, "Well, it might give it to you if you ask kindly enough, I suppose." Right? And so I think after that dialogue option, you could just go and talk to the dragon, and it'll just give you the tier.
Yeah, I was like, well, what kind of creature is it? And the fellow said, or the demon said, well, it's just like a bad one. It's like real bad. And I was like, well, what is it? And like this whole thing is obscured by the fog of war right now, right?
Sure.
So like I can't see it, and there's like, listen, it's bad. And then I was like, well, why do I want to kill it? Like it's very much like a DM railroading someone and not wanting to play along, being like, well, do I really want to fight? You know, Lord Strahd? Is he really the bad guy? And but I even wrote the quote down. Because I say, why do I want to kill it? And the demon says, because it exists, it stands in your way. So just do it, you nerd. And yeah, so after all of this buildup, I walk through the fog of war, and it's a giant black dragon, like a massive. And you know how much trouble I've had before.
It's a perennial issue in
really
Ticklevar's world.
Yeah, and so thankfully, I said it, and they were like, "You conquered your pride." And it pushes its nerd glasses up the bridge of its nose.
Excuse me, sir, but it appears that your pride has been conquered.
And yeah, so I got the tier, and then went on to the last one.
The very last one. Your last one, my second one. This is Fear.
And I think this is the best one.
It's a little convoluted.
But I like the convolutedness of it, and I also like that it is clunky.
It's very clunky.
Like mechanically, it is clunky.
It is the Dark Souls 1 compared to the slickness of Dark Souls 3.
Mm-hmm. We know you have strong opinions about it. Well, we'll get to that in the monthly Patreon podcast, which you can support us at $5 a month and get access to our monthly podcast. Look at that! Look at that ad read for our own product in the middle of this episode.
Double dipping on this plug, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the issue. So you are basically allowed, you're given the access to a special magical item that protects against fear. The problem is it's a nymph skin cloak, which I guess is one of the worst things you can wear. Ethically,
I mean, think about it.
It's really putting nymph lives ahead of all other lives.
I don't know if it's let's think about other skin-based clothing that we have learned about in the past. Mm-hmm. Human skin clothing we know is like one of the most abject evils that a human or that any being can do or can interact with, right? Like it is bad to make human skin cloaks.
Correct.
And humans, as we know, cover the wide range of alignments. There are evil humans. And even if you made a cloak out of the most evil humans possible.
You dextered the cloak.
If you did that, yes. Mm-hmm. If you were playing a sort of fantasy Dexter scenario, that would still be objectively evil. Now,
yes.
Nymphs are all good. They are objectively good beings.
Categorically good.
Categorically good. Whether we agree with this or not, that is the reality of this, the metaphysical structure of the Forgotten Realms and D&D writ large. So, that must be even worse.
Interesting.
Than a human skin cloak. And we know that a human skin cloak is very bad.
Whereas, a druid cannot wear metal armor. They are required to wear animal hide armor. Mm-hmm. Perfectly fine.
It was farmed ethically.
Ethically, okay.
You locally source your hide.
They all died of natural deaths.
Yeah, I mean that could be true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, we've gone in on druids multiple times. None of it, not a single bit of druids makes sense.
No.
That's just the reality of it.
Every homebrew camp role playing game I'm doing from now on is just completely eradicating the idea of a druid. I'm not letting that slide anymore.
I'm pretty sure the next D&D campaign I run, druids will be the bad guys.
Good, but I don't want player characters to be able to be them.
No.
Can we please druids need to be? I would actually love for you to alter that campaign setting to just emphasize how evil and utterly insane the druids are, and that's why they're the bad people.
We'll do it. We're gonna make it happen. But so he offers you a nymph skin cloak, and it protects against fear. So
a lot like Berserk does.
a lot like you might have had a different experience of this whole thing than I did.
Okay.
But it protects against fear. And it was like, listen, you can make this whole thing easier on you, but you got to use this evil cloak. It'll make you evil. And I said, no, I'm good. And he was like, are you sure? This is going to make your whole deal so much easier. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, I want it. I'll just cast protection from fear. I didn't say that, but that's what I thought. And so he zips away, but this is what worried me. As soon as he zipped away and like the game comes back from, the pause of dialogue, I get a little thing in the action bar thing, right? That like it's describing all the things in the game. So when you attack someone, it's shown in the little status bar. And this just said minor spell turning, Elder Orb. And I was like, oh, well, this might not be just fear. There might be other things involved in this room. And maybe I might have wanted that cloak. So there's a pathway that splits. On the right side, there is a chest. And in that chest, if you click on the chest, it basically fears your whole party.
Yes.
That's the idea. On the left side are, for me, 3 Elder Orbs, so giant beholders, the most powerful beholders in this game, and a bunch of Goths, if we remember all the way back to the Temple
Remember
District.
how many Goths Balthazar murdered
to
get
level
to
to 40.
level 40, yeah.
And so I did it the first time, and it like party, I got real bad by this thing, and it
Sure.
feared my whole party, and they all ran up into the beholders, and they were killed. So that was a bummer. But then the second time I did it, you can just bypass the chest and go right to where the tier is held. It's like this little altar, and click on the altar, and it says like, "Congratulations, you done damn did it," and you
Yeah.
can leave and never fight a single beholder. But I left, saved my game, came back, and started casting like death fog into all the beholders and killing them, and like chaining them one by one or kiting them back into the previous screen, and then killing them. Like, to get the experience points.
Dear Lord.
Yeah. So, that's what I did. And I, killed a couple until they all got up close to the door and I couldn't do it anymore, and then I just left. But yeah.
But you got the tier first.
I got the tier.
Interesting.
So you just berserked and went and got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really a problem.
Barbarians just generally seem to break this game.
Yeah, it's almost like they made the game and then after they made the entire game and it was very well balanced, they were like, "Oh, we need to add like this class, this iconic D&D class." And no one ever played the game through as a barbarian.
I mean, you have to wonder. I would love to hear stories about QA for this game, because there's no way that you could QA every possible option and class in this game. In the same way that you can't playtest for real D&D, you cannot playtest every possible combination. So in some ways, you just got to trust the math.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, well, the math is all balanced, so it's good.
No, the math is a perfect representation of a class's abilities. The game is a simulation, right?
Yeah.
This isn't about balance. This is what a barbarian can do. It isn't about, like, time stop is not about balance. It's what a wizard can do.
Mm-hmm. And what a barbarian can do is nullify the abilities of maybe 80% of the enemies in the game.
It's really only time stop, and then you just got to run away.
Time stop and level drain. Both seem pretty
even though
difficult.
At this point, it's very seldom that anything can level drain me.
Oh, just because your saving throws are so high?
I think it's the saving throws and sometimes it's like a magic. It goes through magic, and like there's an innate magic resistance. It's a whole suite of abilities and resistances that are working together here.
So after this, I take all my things and I go and jam them in all these eye sockets. And so I have a list of the things I got for this. I got immunity to +1 weapons. I got that my main character has 10% resistance to magic, +2 to all saving throws, 20% resistance to fire, cold, and electricity, and then +1 to wisdom and charisma.
Interesting.
You said you got a alignment change.
Yeah, I got most of those. The +1 weapons or less, 10% resistance, +2 to saving throws, 20% to fire, cold, and electricity. And I became chaotic evil.
Wow.
And so I did the exact same thing you did for everything except Saravok.
I will say that in the strategy guide that I'm currently looking at, it does say, note, if any of the above choices were made with an evil reward, your character will also lose 1 point of reputation and have your alignment change over to evil.
From the good evil. So I was already chaotic neutral.
Yep.
Wow. So you get it's not like it's not the aggregate, right?
Nope.
You fail one test, you are just evil now.
Or you just make the evil choice. I don't know if it's success and failure so much as
Oh yeah. I mean you make one evil choice in 5 different challenges.
And I kind of appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Not kind of. I really appreciate that because the whole thing that we've been told over and over and over again by everyone who knows about the ball spawn and this whole plan is that a prophecy is coming and Ball is coming back through one of his spawn. Mm-hmm. And 2, that it is impossible to do anything in the face of that. That having Ball's blood means that you will, over the course of time, become evil. And so I like the idea of that these are suggesting that it is easy for that to happen to a Ball spawn. That,
it's an uphill battle.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle.
You have to be a
good.
very exceptional individual, or Ticklevar.
Why, golly gosh, it seems hard to do it the bad way. I'm going to do it the easy way. No one's here to tell me what to do. I'll do it the easy way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. I like the kind of representational stuff there. And so then, you jam all these tiers in here, and I took this as like, this is part of you, of the ball spawn, of Gorian's ward, taking their like destiny in their hands. Like all of these stat benefits, I thought was like part of the ascension to godhood. Like you're accepting your Lord of Murderiness.
Oh, interesting.
And getting access to some of the power that was locked in. Because this is like all in your head, right? Or like all in a magical pocket plane created by your soul.
It's like in Ball's dead head
in
the plains.
Yeah.
No, I think I understand that. So you going through this, these are almost metaphorical challenges that just represent you fully embracing your ballhood.
That's what I thought. And like unifying your soul and all of like the abilities of the soul with you yourself. Because, right, you're like in some weird contest with Irenicus, who also has part of your soul right now. Mm-hmm. That's why you both went to hell when he died.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how I took it.
And so the only reason that Irenicus got sucked down here, period, is he siphoned away some of your soul. He would never have ended up here otherwise.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And he kind of explains that when he appears. So you
Yeah.
jam all those tiers in there, and the door literally blows open, and it blew all of my characters, like, across the map.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I also had, after the first time I did it, because I didn't know it would immediately summon Irenicus. Mm-hmm. But so I tried to do it the first time, and I just immediately reloaded, because I was like, I need all my dudes. So I summoned a bunch of swords and djinn and all this stuff, and then the doors blow open, and they all go everywhere.
Ooh, okay.
So it's very funny to watch on my screen, because you just see like 11 objects just flying around. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so then Irenicus appears.
And to die in this place is to cease to exist.
Yeah, he says that.
Yeah. It's very real. The stakes are high.
Stakes are high. It actually deletes your save game if you lose.
That's what I was about to ask. Did you die? Because I didn't die.
I didn't die. I did lose. I think I did this 3 times. The first time was basically an immediately reload after what he says.
Yeah.
The second time went for a very long time, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And then the third one I won. So I guess I did it 3 times, but they all took a while.
Okay.
It took a minute to do it. But yeah, so he appears, he says that stuff. As far as like a final boss monologue goes, I wasn't very impressed.
No. I mean, it's everything that has needed to ever be said between the protagonist and Irenicus has already been said. Right?
That's true.
Like,
Not a
there's
lot more.
already there's been so many confrontations. I don't know what else that is left. Right? Maybe there should have been less exposition in some of the SLR.
Yeah. I mean, I really wonder how much this, like, very end part was planned on. Because this all looks like Planescape Torment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like this weird... It doesn't really look like the rest of Baldur's Gate 2.
No, it does not.
In a general
The way
sense.
these like strange demi-human statues are around, like kind of around the arena, it does look a little. It doesn't look Forgotten Realms to me. Typically, it does look cool in that it looks different from everything else, and it's supposed to be hell in a way, right?
Yeah.
I think that Siege of Dragonspear hell, like the Infernus, is a bit more kind of traditional Judeo-Christian Norse hell, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this looks otherworldly. But yeah, he summons his own people, right? He summons a bunch of demons.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I was going to ask. So he summoned a bunch of people for you. Or a bunch
Yeah.
of demons to help himself out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did he not
yeah.
do that with you?
No, he did. I just wondered if it was like he summoned one per party member or something. Because he does have like a full party of 6.
Correct.
So I didn't know if there was like some scaling that could happen there or something.
Yeah, they all popped in, and I just I ran to like the bottom, and they followed me. And at that point, I kind of was wondering, oh, am I still in a fight right now? And I guess I was, because he kind of teleports to the bottom of the chamber, and he's kind of got got his defensive spells loaded up, all of that stuff. The Slayer's wandering around.
The Slayer is him.
Oh,
Yeah.
So there's never Irenicus and the Slayer at the same time.
Yes, much like Batman and Bruce Wayne, or Peter Parker and Spider-Man, you never, ever see the Slayer and Irenicus in the same room at the same time.
Why haven't we caught on to this? Why it's just the Slayer's just Irenicus with some glasses.
Yeah, yeah. Or, no, Irenicus is just the Slayer with some glasses.
Some glasses,
Just
there we go.
Giant claw-armed monstrous creature, but gosh, he's just so learned.
This fight was very anticlimactic to me because it just consisted of me like wailing on Irenicus when he had like a bunch of defensive spells on, and I'm able to get through because my hammer's +5, etc. Right?
This was much harder for me. This was like a hard as nails, like real difficult fight, and it was pretty fun all told. I didn't feel like it was unbalanced. So yeah, I had to like run to the bottom left. I ran to the bottom left stairwell and like put my people there, and I took all of my summoned monsters that I'd pre-summoned and I set them to attacking all of his summons, and they killed probably half of them, because Irenicus was blowing his copies of Death Spell over and over again to like one-shot them, which is fine. So I just sat in the bottom left and summoned monsters like over and over and over again, and I cast Simulacrum on Ticklevar to make another Ticklevar because all of your items appear on your... So, like, all of your magic items are also duplicated.
Ooh.
I have a staff that summons fire elementals, so I could summon 2 fire elementals per turn with my
That's good.
normal main character and my Simulacrum. So I just kind of kept doing that and sending them up there, and eventually got it to where it was just the Slayer. And the first time I did it, I was down to just near, like everyone kind of died one by one. And I was down to Nira and Ticklevar, and they just could not DPS him fast enough no matter what I did. Because he has regeneration. He regenerates 3 hit points per second, I think. Yes.
That's yeah.
He does.
It's a good clip.
Yeah. And so, like, I just couldn't... They weren't dying, and they weren't even being hit by him, but I literally would not be able to generate the DPS. So I reloaded, did the same thing again, except I killed all the summons except for one Balor, and I didn't realize it. So it's like all my party members, they're still alive. They're on top of the Slayer. I'm using my wizards every turn to like knock down more spell protections. It's difficult. I'm like, burning potions, and I'm drinking health stuff, all of this. And then Mazzy gets feared She has like a morale failure from being
Ooh.
hit so hard one turn. And so she like runs away and then aggroes the Baldur.
Oh, the one Baldur that was like in the fog of war.
Yes. And so I like have to emergency simulacrum Ticklevar. I summon up 2 fire elementals like in the previous fight. I send them over and to the Baldur, and then I just suicide Viconia into the Baldur. Like I just need some creatures in front of it long enough for me to GPS down Irenicus.
Because you need
Slayer.
Mazzy to finish the fight.
Exactly. So I send Mazzy back over there. She can hit him. She's hitting him for like 23 per hit. It's pretty
Lord.
good. Yeah, she's wailing on him with like a short sword. And then I finished it that way. Only character that died was Viconia. Because
That happens to Viconia a lot.
she dies in basically every major fight, I think. She only has like 60 hit points. I think she has fewer hit points than Ticklevar.
Interesting.
I think she's at 60 and he's at like 65. Yep. Yep.
Well, when you defeat Irenicus, Balthazar did some interesting things where he started like casting spells at Irenicus in like a little cutscene.
Yeah, it's like energy is like shooting out of your body at him.
Like, I'm taking my soul back. And then he dies, and then I pass out, and I wake up, and the Elf Queen's there.
Yeah, and she's like, "Hey, you've been dead for several days,
Yeah, you've been down and out, and we have not been able to like get you back.
and we've been trying to resurrect you over and over and over again."
We've like used half of our kingdom's wealth in spell reagents, right?
But then they got you back, or
Yeah.
got you back, and then she's like, "Gosh, maybe we in Salted SLR share a little bit of responsibility for creating John Irenicus by stripping him of his like species being and turning him into a giant evil wizard
And not killing him.
and not killing him." Anyway, lol, bye.
It's interesting during they say thanks, but they're like, despite your horrible reputation.
Is that
at
what they
this
said to
point-
you?
Yeah, they were like, well, you did a good job, even though maybe you didn't do a good job anywhere else you've ever been.
That's very funny. I did not
Because
get that.
I'm like a chaotic evil person now.
And your reputation's probably in the toilet.
Yeah,
Because isn't it like 1 point higher than paladins coming and slaying you?
correct. It has been perpetually that ever since I figured I could go to like the Temple of Ogma and get that taken care of.
Yeah. So that's a real different experience for Balthazar.
We've got to talk about the end cinematic.
So there are 2 in cinematics that happen.
And I think one is the end cinematic and the other is like the Throne of Balls cinematic, right?
Yeah, I think it might be the intro cinematic for it. Well, no, I think both of the ones. So we'll talk about it. So the first one, hard cut to John Irenicus
Waking up.
waking up on the ground. He like holds his hand. He stands up. He holds his hand up, and there's like looks like snow falling onto his hand. He turns around, giant lake of fire,
Ooh.
Judeo-Christian hell, over there. Then what happens?
So he turns around, giant lake of fire. Camera pans out. It shows like how vast the lake of fire. He's just on this like little cliff. He hears something behind him. He says, "To end like this?" He's like real upset. He turns around and there's skittering behind him. And it's just all these little demons,
Yeah,
right? He tries to shoot him with the magic. Magic doesn't work. There's like dozens of these little devil demons. And their claws, and they got claws and horns and red eyes. And he looks real up. He's like frightened, and then he's just angry. They start charging him, and he just starts WWEing them, basically, like throwing him over the cliff. But eventually they grab a hold of him, and they just dogpile him, and then all limbing off of the cliff.
yeah.
So I guess, like, for eternity, he's just, like, in the lava with demons, like, dogpiling him.
Yeah, just getting the crap beat out of him for eternity. Which you would think, like, this doesn't seem like a special punishment, right? This seems just like what happens to bad people.
Maybe in our like Judeo-Christian context, that's what we assumed. But what if hell is like for the vast majority of mundanely bad people, just like unpleasant?
Well, that is what. So for just like mundanely bad people, we do have a sense because like Kelemvor, who would be the god of the dead, I think right now.
Sure.
Like his afterlife is just like a vast gray plain that you just gotta kind of talk to people. Like the afterlife itself, it's not bad for most people, unless you have like a specific patron god, and then you go to their plane, right? Yeah, so I guess this is uniquely bad, but I thought he would be being like stomped by Helm for all eternity.
It's pretty bad, right?
I mean, it's pretty bad,
like
but I wanted like a
rent
big
apart
god.
by demons while you wanted like a higher profile torturer.
I wanted him to be like turned into a tree. You know what I mean?
And then cut down and turned into like the desk of of like a sellout premium TV writer.
Or Rilla Fane.
Turned into the desk of like one of the writers at Westworld that's just consulting Reddit to figure out what the next plot point will be.
Oof. Really going after Westworld in here. But yeah, but good. Really well directed cinematic too. I really liked it.
Good.
So then we get a second cinematic. And I think
Correct.
this is at the end of Baldur's Gate 2. It is not
You think this is not an intro to Throne of Ball?
No, I don't think so, because the intro to Throne of Ball is like the one where they tell you about the 5 ball spawn. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like a council of people sitting around a table. And they're like, we've got to do something about Gorian's ward. And the other one's like, something will be done soon enough. And then we get like an overhead shot, and it's the center of the table they're sitting around is the ball symbol. And
What on earth?
What the heck? And it zips away. Yep. And that's the end.
And that's the end. And we'll have to figure out what that means.
We done damn did it.
We done did it. We really did.
We really did, but we got one more game left to go.
Dear Lord. And this is, it's still like a full game.
It's not that long. I don't remember Throne of Ball
Do you think
taking
it's
very
like
long to complete.
Siege of Dragonspear long?
I think it's a little bit shorter even than Siege of Dragonspear.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're very close.
We are very close.
I would say
I want to know what happens.
because you don't know.
I don't know. I've never played. This will be the first time I ever play Throne of Ball.
Oh, it's pretty cool. A lot of interesting fights happen. Well,
Sweet.
This game was good.
This game was good.
I think
it's
Shadows
still
of Ball-
good. It
yeah.
has aged very well.
Yeah, I think it's one of the better games, period, perhaps. I've played a lot of games. I've played a lot of games professionally. I've played a lot of games for fun. I've played a lot of games I had no interest in. And I had a lot of games I had a lot of interest in that I ultimately did not enjoy. This is a game that I basically played because of an obligation. You know what I mean? Like, we're doing the show. I imagine somewhere in Chapter 2, in real life, if I were playing this, I would have gotten bored and taken like a long break and maybe come back to it.
But you probably wouldn't have been able to come back where you left off. You'd been like, oh, we're going to have to start over. I forgot where I was.
Exactly. But,
And then the cycle would have repeated.
exactly. But made it all the way through. Really glad I did. Great game.
Yeah. No, 2 thumbs up from me. I'm really excited. Thanks so much for sticking with us on this journey. Mm-hmm. And thanks for continuing. A preemptive thanks. Thanks for continuing on this journey as we move into Throne of Ball.
Shout out to John Fio, aka Audio Sprite, who provided the theme for this season 3 of Mages and Murderdads. There will be a new theme next episode.
Ooh.
Working on that right now. Gonna get it.
And probably like a different background color.
Yeah, it'll be a different background. Probably purple.
Ooh.
Probably purple. But yeah. So we're gonna do Throne of Ball, and then we're gonna do Planescape Torment.
Fun.
Right?
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I think we're pretty committed. So,
Yeah.
So that'll be the next thing we do after Throne of Ball. But that's still probably Throne of Ball is probably going to take 6-7 episodes. So that's a while yet.
A while yet. Oh, I'm so excited.
It's going to be good. All right. Well, that's episode 37. And we're going to leave now. If you enjoyed this, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this. That really helps us out. You can follow us on Twitter. All that is down in the description below. You should check that out. And if you really like the show, you should support us on Patreon to make sure that we remain solvent.
Above board.
Above board.
Ciao, everybody.
Alando.